Hey guys, RunBuck with RunBuck on Games. Got another 3-star Locksmith for you finally. I've gotten out of so much work, got a little time on my hands, so I was able to go back and play with one of the bases that was kind of interesting to me. This one's from our war with the Swarm. I think in that war recap, if you go back on the channel, you can see my attack on it. It ended up with a 1-star. The basic gist of the plan was to drive into this section with the Queen Walk or Queen Charge, and then take out the Eagle and the CC during that push, which then gives me a pretty nice table that then I could king forward off here and then drive the core, specifically this eye tower, with a minor mass. That was the plan. It ended up dying out due to the number of DPS units. I didn't know this Tesla was going to be here. I was also a little slow on my rage spells and didn't use my, it was mass minions in the CC. So just too much DPS came out and I wasn't prepared to handle it. So it kind of smoked me. Let me show you a couple of the things I've done so far. Let's see here. So this is my first attempt as I was warming up. And basically I was trying to, oh wait, wrong base. So I didn't have the right base up right away. Dun 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 dun. Let's try this one. Is this the right one? Yeah, here we go. So this was the first one. We'll just make it 4 times speed so you can kind of just go for flow. And you can see basically what I'm trying to do here is recreate the walk. I use miners instead of minions for the cut, but trying to recreate the walk. And it was interesting because my wall breaker failed there. I noticed that the Queen Walk, when she starts right here, actually will loop back. And you can see that it actually works out pretty well. I mean, I still get in because the Queen bashes her way in, and she ends up making it with the miners coming through. Now, if I would have had those miners come a little bit earlier, I would have still had that Queen up. And then you can see I actually end up getting pretty close to a 3 just from that simple approach, but lose out in time because of this Queen, the wall breaker fail. I ended up dying off, but you can see how close I was with just that right there. So I knew that I was onto something at that point in terms of the push area. And so notice where I ended up being. I didn't end up in this box. I ended up in this box. And so I think the key of this base, if I was going to play it again and pause it for you, whenever you see this base, the key is to get a walk that actually gets you into pause. Gets you into pause means stop. Hello. Stupid thing. But to get into these boxes right here, it's killing me. This box and this box. Because if you, and depending on which one, then you king forward off this if you're going to go with this guy, in effect. So don't try to get too deep, because I think if you get that too far and then the miners get too spread out or too delayed before they can get on the eye tower, you want a quick push in. So work on the pathing that gets you into those 2 boxes, one or the other, which then also will trigger the CC. This one's better because it also gives you potential to get this Eagle. But yeah. So I kept doing that for a little while, and I was having a little bit of trouble recreating the walk itself. Here we can take a look at a failed attempt off that. After I did that 90%, I had some trouble getting consistency on the walk itself and where it would go. It wouldn't always end up, and also I was getting under pressure from the DPS too early. I wouldn't. Oh, and this one, so here I bounced back out. Did I bounce back out into this box? I guess I didn't. Oh, I went deeper than I wanted to, so I ended up being this far side, and I got under fire from the eye tower itself. So you really kind of needed to come in from this side so that you're working your way and end up over here. And so you kind of really need to model a lot of the walk itself to know where the Queen will be when she's shooting the Eagle. The fact that she came along this edge and then, triggered the CC kind of got her into trouble. And I can show you actually the model that we're working on. So here's the model that I ended up building out that you'll see here in a minute. We're going to end up doing a push this direction, which will come in from this side, and then she's going to walk this way because of the fact that we were over here. She's going to walk towards the Eagle and basically narrowly miss the Inferno igniting at the same time. And if you looked at where she can be versus the so see how it's halfway through the expo, and the CC triggering is right about here, right? And so she can be barely right there. And if you look at the planned walk path, you can see that position L is where she triggers, right? Which is when she's shooting the eagle. If you look at right there, and that could be a little bit further back. One could debate where exactly it is. But the key of it is that there is a spot there where she can sit and shoot the eagle and potentially not die, based on the model that we did. So let's take a look at another. As you see, I kept going. I think it ended up being 10 attacks before it stabilized for me. Let's see here. Going a little further. Da, 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 da. You can see I went off and did something else. Oh, here I'm back. 5%. Something went bad there. 7%. Let's take a look at that one. I think this is where I start seeing the oh, wrong attack. I attack Nord space for fun. Whoops. We're not locksmithing that. Let's see here. Da, da, da. Here we go. I think this one's right. Yeah, so here we are again. And this is where I noticed that it was such... Oh, no, I lied. So this is another one where we're driving in towards the core, and I'm going to end up in this box, right? So she comes back. I take it back. So she's in position correctly. So that all worked out. And I went earlier, tried to go earlier with the miners to get pressure off of her, but it really didn't work. She ended up going down pretty early, and it was just too much stuff going off all at once. So at that point, I kind of I tried this one, and this is where it does the double back. And if you looked at the model, here, let's pause for a second. Look at the model itself, and look at how, if I zoom in on this, so see how this is the shooting position A, and how much of B is in range. And if I just move that over a little bit, I can bring it out a little bit. So this is the one that's the difference. So is it going to go for this or that? And see how this is more in range, is over this way, but it's very quickly as you move over to where this was originally where I was shooting from. See how it's actually coming towards the dark barracks itself, but as you move this way, it's going to B. So that's just a tile and a half difference, is the difference between this pathing versus the pathing that goes down here and then double backs. So I found that to be interesting. Just shows you the power of modeling to understand your queen walk. So here we go. Let's fire it up again. 4 times speed. So in this case, we're going to go north. We're a little wider. We got the rage. We're powering through. Things are going well. We're taking a little damage on our healers, but that's okay. I went early with the king to kind of begin the cuts. 2 poisons end up taking out the rest of the stuff. I'm under fire from the Inferno, but not with the core team. Just my other stuff. And so I end up actually getting, I think, do I get the eagle down? I do. So barely get the eagle down. And then in comes the miners. And then the healers switch over, which is the core of this attack. Usually it's, it's okay for the queen to die off at some point, because then the healers actually move to the miners and really enable them to do a better job. We save the Tome and the freeze for working the backside Inferno. So even though it has pretty good defensively set up to absorb damage, it doesn't really matter. And then it just comes around and does it. So that was the first time I did it. So then I was trying to recreate it to get some consistency to confirm, that this wasn't just a fluke. I missed it once. I think, let's see why we missed it. At 76%. Same pathing. Opening's the same. Rage looks similar. Oh, this one the queen actually dies a little earlier. You'll see that she doesn't end up getting the eagle down, although it's not a death blow. One of the miners does take it out, so we get that down. But it ends up not being enough. I don't know why. Might have been that I used the Tome too early. Not sure. But it doesn't get all the way through. And so part of me thinks that was because of the king position. What we want to do is we want that we want the miners quicker on this, so I think the king position switching over here is better than this one, because here you're leaving a lot of things for this to work through. It's really playing to the advantage of the Inferno, whereas this doesn't really help. I mean, it keeps them centered, but your king will end up in there anyways. If you started here, it'll walk around. So I think what I did is I ended up switching the king position a little bit. And so let's take a look at our final version of it. So same pathing into the box. But it's interesting, it's not ever, and see, so a lot earlier with the king, what I'm trying to do here is get into position to help the queen when she's here. So when she gets in trouble, that she actually is not going to get a thread on from the Inferno, that the miners will come. So it's, see, hold on. Oh, so it's really what I've done is I've cut this pretty much by dropping here with the king and the rest of the crew. And now the Inferno is all saturated up with the miners, as is the queen, so it's giving my queen a little bit more time. And she still doesn't get the eagle down. So it's very similar to the prior attack, but the difference is that we had a lot quicker movement into the Inferno. So I think getting your king positioning and that his backup team from the CC, which is, I've found bowlers is better, will get you quicker on the Inferno and quicker on and through into the base. And look how the base isn't really that narrow either. I mean, the miners will end up just from a heal and then a tome and then a freeze. Will handle that final DPS area of the base and then just kind of work their way around. So yeah. So I think, I could keep doing it, but I think it definitely is that's the right path. And again, the cores of when you see this base is you've got to get your, I think I'd say you have to get, let's go ahead and play again, and then we can mark up that base itself. So you have to get into one of these two boxes, ideally the box closest to the eagle, so you get a chance at that, or nick it down so that when the miners get there, they move through quickly. You have to get the CC out and kill it off, for sure. It's not as critical how much of this external outside you really get, because look at how much I ended up getting from that before I moved in. I mean, it wasn't really a lot taken out in terms of the base itself, so it's really not a queen walk card, it's more of a queen mini walk with a charged component. And it's okay if this dies and this eagle's still a little bit up. I mean, as long as you get good penetration with your king forward, right, which is moving over here and taking it out with the bowlers, that leaves a very tight pathing for your miner team into the eye tower, which I think is the most important thing, because once that's into the eye tower, then they can spread, and then you can just watch your hordes and do heal through as they approach, and then use your tome, and then don't use your tome on the first part. If there's enough there that doesn't matter, then your tome and your freeze on the backside can do a lot of good damage there. Hope it helps. I thought it was a pretty good base. I might use it occasionally in war. We'll change some things, so if you want to try, watch out. I might have changed something. But yeah, good base. Hope it helps, guys. Talk to you later.
What am I gonna do? My clan sucks. Hey, it's JTJ.
I think that's an all-out attack.
No, it's the legendary JTJU. 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 What? I like my horn. You and this army. Download Clash of Clans for free. Then subscribe to JTJU and win.